but sometimes you just force into playing the pot.
One.
Well, Stephen, as John mentioned, was forced into playing that pot, and you know that if you give Ronnie half a sniff the way he's playing this morning, he's going to score heavily. Every frame this morning has scored 40 or above. That's been his lowest break, 44 in frame 10. Everything else has been 93, 87, 57. How many will he get here?
4. Five.
Couldn't get into the main bunch there, but full ball contact was always going to leave in the bottom red. He's got the full ball contact.
12.
Because he's now getting rid of this red, going into the bunch now is not really
13.
advantageous, so he'll be playing for a loose one.
$20. 21. $28.
Now, what sort of an angle has he got? Well, he's playing bottom and follow through, so back for the black.
29.
Now, could he play the cannon onto the reds? Just got to avoid the red near the top cushion, or just play for another loose one. That's what he's doing. Always had to
36.
judge the pace well there, because it wasn't obvious the red, but he's nicely on this, up for the blue.
37. $42. 43.
That's exactly where he didn't want to finish. That's why he's taking the pink now, because he can't get onto that red. Playing the pink, of course, means that red's going to be available that's loose. This is the key shot now, the next one. Position on 3/4 ball pink into the middle to open the reds, or half ball black to go into them from one cushion
49.
into the reds. Just coming around to look whether the value is to play the 3/4 ball pink. From this instance, I think that's the best value, because you'd be pushing a red over the left-hand corner and possibly over the right-hand corner if you played the pink 3/4 ball. So always, you've got to look at these kind of things, where the reds are being pushed to. And that's the reason he's left the 3/4 ball pink. So the one on the extreme left of the bunch will be pushed towards the left, and he'll be hoping he pushes one over the right as well. Not worked. He may have the top one. Didn't quite have the angle he wanted to. Just
56.
keep an eye on them. Just got him. I thought that red had slowed down. He'd probably hit it a fraction hard.
Yeah, and he could have done with hitting the join of the two reds rather than just the one red. And he had to put a bit of backspin so that the cue ball didn't stick on the red, but I think he's got one to the left corner. There you see it.
57.
not far from the winning line in another frame. Stephen Hendry led 4-1.
61.
Could be 8 in a row. Has he got an angle on this red? Just enough.
62.
And just slotting them in as though they're over the pocket. That was a difficult shot made to look ridiculously easy.
69.
This is the first frame of the frames this morning as we see Ronnie taking what would be frame ball.
70.
That Stephen Hendry hasn't really had a chance in this frame. So it doesn't hurt as much when you don't have a chance, but obviously the reason it delayed a little bit more this morning because that's 5 on the trot. A total of 8 on the trot since he was 4-1 in front.
77. 78.
And the nature of the game, Ronnie O'Sullivan broke off. Stephen couldn't see a safety, was forced into playing a long pot. Didn't get it,
54.
and that's it. So as we say, no matter how good you are, when the other man's at the table potting balls, you can only watch. This is the one that Stephen couldn't see a safety,
90.
knew it was fraught with danger, and his worst fears have been realised.
91.
He's just rammed that in left-handed there. Well, he deserves a century. This has been absolutely top draw.
98.
All centuries are good.
99.
This has been very good.
And there you go. And why wouldn't you applaud that?
106.
His 8th century
108.
of the tournament. And the 54th of the tournament.
111.
The record stands at 68 in the tournament.
115.
It's not certain to be beaten. At the start of the tournament, there was a lot of talk
120.
whether it would be 60 or above or less. I think 60 will be beaten. But this has been a
126.
masterclass in break building. Poetry in motion. Absolutely superb. Stephen Hendry, nothing anybody could do. Disappointing, missed that one. And I don't think he missed it because he was feeling guilty.
One.
So, Ronnie, with a chance, nice angle on the black. We'll probably go into them because he's only one loose red and he's got to disturb something at some time, and he couldn't get a better opportunity than this. But not on anything ideal. He's got this cut to the right corner.
8.
And just about reach over. On tippy toes.
9.
Absolutely perfect on the blue. Big moments in the match now for me. This Ronnie needs to make the most of this opportunity that's
15.
presented itself from nowhere, really.
$22. 23.
Well, Oh, red available into the right corner just below the pink. Can he hold for it off this blue? He could, quite comfortably. But now, after this red,
28.
the work starts, because red's a little bit awkward.
29.
And he needs an angle on the black, which I think he's just about got one. Obviously the red second from the pink goes to the left corner. And of course in potting this he'll release the other one.
36.
He's not on it ideal, has to be said. But he's on it.
37.
But because he was running off the second red, has not got ideal position on the blue. And it's not, well, it needed a good shot off the green. The cue ball will be travelling a distance, so needs to judge the pace correctly. Hit this too hard.
$40.
So that's end of break. Quick glance at the scoreboard, got a 10-point advantage now. Good safety shot required.
He's playing the double.
Well, he's got the double. I'm not going to say it was a wrong shot, but we know with doubles, if they don't go in and they hit the far jaw, that he could have come back and left James KO a shot on. But it went in. And now a chance to win the frame at this
48.
visit and punish young James for that easy misread into the corner.
49.
Now, I'm not certain about the availability of these two reds just to the right of the pink, and I don't know if he's got the angle on the pink to nudge into them. Well, he did. Another quick glance at the scoreboard, 25 points in front.
55.
Two reds, two colours still needed.
56.
Yeah, he's been looking for some inspiration all morning. Will adversity be the factor that he just needed to get himself going?
Yeah, he still seems to me, though, Alan, to be treading a fine line
62.
with the shot selection.
63.
So this black to go 40 points in front with just 35 remaining.
Yeah, he seems to be playing more an instinct this morning
70.
than method.
Another double will keep James Cahill in his seat. When he fluked the black, you thought, well, what a chance to win the frame, but he missed an easy red. And he's been punished for it.
$77. 79.
I'd hold on to your hats, folks. I think we're in for a roller coaster ride here of some magnitude.
$82. $86. Switch that off, please.
Rob Walker, RMC, reminds everybody to switch the phones off.
91.
Always somebody who forgets.
$97.
And this for the century. Superb. That's what Ronnie O'Sullivan is all about.
Inspiration.
1.
Okay, kick aside, that fifth frame was just, always felt so massive for Steve Maguire in
8.
this match. Keep the hammer down.
9.
I think if you gave Steve Maguire 5-4 ahead, Johnny, bite your hand off.
Yeah, but when, as we saw
60.
rightly say, it looked as for all the world it could have been 5-0. He'd have been looking for something better than that, but the ball robbed him with that kick.
17.
But this, of course, as well, is the beauty of the World Championship and the number of frames that are played. You know,
24.
it gives a chance for a bit of luck to even out here or there, and players to settle into the game and produce the best snooker, and that's why the best snooker is usually
25.
produced here at the Crucible Theatre.
It's the 4th red and black, but I think with that positional shot, that's the end of
32.
any thoughts of 147s. Yeah, this tournament's all about momentum.
33.
These long matches, how long can you keep it to yourself? You can win these 2-session matches, multi-session matches in the first session.
35.
Ronnie just had a look, but this is red's unmissable, and he should be able to hold for a ball colour quite comfortably.
36.
And the reason he also wanted to get rid of that red, I think it was stopping the blue from going into that middle pocket. So you'd have to say this is an excellent chance. Well, at the mid-session interval, 4-0 behind. Seems a
41.
distant memory now.
$46. 47. $54. 55.
Good pot that on the red, hampered as he was. And as Stephen remarked in the last frame, he now just signs he's got that cue ball under control.
Yeah, the whole
61.
body language around the table is different. Looks far more positive, far more aggressive, which is what you expect from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
$66. 67.
Just overscrewed it a touch. He just wants to get a half ball camera on the left hand, one of the two reds, and couldn't have played it any better than that.
70.
Century in the last frame.
75.
This frame well and truly over. We're going to see back-to-back centuries. Wouldn't bet against it.
$82. 83. $90. $91. $96. $97.
Seventh of the tournament, and Ronnie
101.
O'Sullivan's 946th career century. Unbelievable.
$106. $110.
Well, Steve McGuire to tell a very risky red in that frame.
Dear me, that was more in than out.
You cannot get any closer than that. It looked in all the way. Little unlucky there, Selby.
How's that not gone in?
I can't believe that hasn't dropped.
Well, I was about to say, Phil, looking at the stats, obviously Mark needs what he did to do what he did back in 2008. It's 8 years ago now, when he was 8-5 down to Ronnie, he won 9-8.
Yeah, 3 down with 4 to play. A similar scenario. But the mood O'Sullivan's in, I think it's going to be even more difficult for Selby today than it was that evening in the final. And what a pot that was. Needs another one, though.
4.
Yeah, well, again, don't be surprised if this goes in. Medium pace, he might just be able to avoid the black here.
Beautifully cued. I mean, that wasn't easy.
5.
Slow down, though. Slow down. Super fast tables.
Couldn't have hit that much better.
Oh, wow. Chose to attack, knowing there was a red at the back of the pack, but is it that sweet as a nut? He's so confident at the moment.
Knowing he'd leave this red for Selby if he missed. I don't think O'Sullivan's long game has ever been better than it is right now. 40 years of age, but the eyesight is still very reliable.
You've got to be concerned for Mark here.
O'Sullivan won their last meeting, of course, which was as recently as last month at the Masters semi-finals. In fact, that was O'Sullivan's best performance of the tournament in winning 6-3. I think he's aware every time he faces Selby that he needs a little bit extra to get the job done. He has a lot of respect for his opponent's game. They play it very differently, but both extremely well.
Well, the do seem to bring the best out of each other, don't they?
17.
O'Sullivan stretching a little too far, so he's asked referee Paul Collier for a bit of assistance.
Thanks. 18.
He's got the red just this side of the pink. He could play a little cannon on a red here and stay on that one. He's chosen to play on it, and he's played it beautifully. That's a great touch.
25.
Looking to kill off the match here. He doesn't want Mark coming back at him. He knows what he's like when he starts. He's got them. And for Mark Selby, you've got to say, Phil, it all started from that final black in the third frame. It could have been all different, couldn't it? If he got on the pink wasn't quite at the right angle. He was definitely playing on the double to the middle, came short, and then played a poor safety. Well, he actually didn't. He went for the pot and missed it by a mile, to be honest. And then the black that Ronnie locked in was superb.
It was, and Joe Johnson made the point that Selby could, earlier in that break, when he was clearing up to try and steal, have taken a pink
34.
instead of a blue, which would have meant that O'Sullivan could only have tied with the black. And that was perhaps an error of judgment. Hindsight's a great thing, of course. But that does feel like the pivotal frame at the moment. Had Selby won it, he was guaranteed at least a share of the spoils at the interval.
And we know, don't we, that at this level, it doesn't take much.
But it's the pace at which O'Sullivan is punishing his opponent's errors this week. It's frightening. It's intimidating.
39.
This match is nearly done.
40.
Well, I think you could probably count on one hand the unforced errors that he's made all of this tournament. In fact, I think he played the last match. There was more mistakes than one frame that he's made in the whole tournament.
The first frame that he lost, yeah.
Remember, I think, yeah, we're right.
You We'll
take that one out of the equation. But if you take that out, that frame, he hasn't missed much once he's in.
And even you needed a fluked black to win it, even after all those
48.
mistakes. Well, it is sublime stuff from O'Sullivan, and he's closing in a hurry here on a place in the semi-finals. Meeting with either Joe Perry or Ben Wollaston. Last year's runner-up
53.
beckons, if he makes it. And of course, the
54.
semis played tomorrow, both of them over the best of 11 frames, the first to 6, so a little bit more wiggle room. The final over the best of 17. Into the pack he goes. And that should be
59.
the killing thrust from O'Sullivan. Well, he missed
60.
what for him was an absolute sitter of a black when he was entertaining thoughts of a 147 in frame 3. That aside, he's done very, very little wrong and an awful lot right. And this already
67.
is match ball.
68.
Fabulous stuff. He's just taken down the world #1 by some margin in
75.
the blink of an eye.
76.
Who's going to stop him? That is the question.
Well, we know Neil Robertson is playing fabulously well. We saw that earlier against Ding Junhui.
83.
And of course, they're on a collision course to meet in the final on Sunday. What a match
84.
that would be if it happens. There are plenty of other players who'll have other ideas. But it's going to take something special if O'Sullivan keeps this up to deny him a 4th Welsh Open title.
91.
Yeah, we've just sort of been waiting all week for him to play a sort of mediocre or a bad session, but he hasn't. It's as simple as that. He's maintained that standard, or this standard, I should say, all the way through the week.
Fitting
98.
that he should finish with the 3-figure break.
99.
And listen for the roar when this pink disappears. Well, the crowd have been royally entertained so far today. There are still a couple of quarterfinals to come, but what a couple of matches they've seen. The standard just sky high.
107.
Selby started with a century, but that's the only frame he's won.
$110. $114. $119.
Round the angles for the black.
125.
Making them talk. What can you say? A total clearance of 132 from